hell was that? It's exactly what I said when this movie ended. I stood up and I said this. Fantastic Four, or Fan-Four-Stick. It's just what it looks like on the poster. Fan-Four-Stick. And that's what some people are calling it, so I'm going to go ahead and call it myself Fant-Four-Stick. Because this was not Fantastic Four. This is the 4th installment of trying to make a Fantastic Four movie, and they failed. This version is directed by Josh Trank, and I'll more on him in a minute. It stars Miles Teller as Reed Richards, and Reed Richards is the smartest guy in the universe, and he comes up with a way to teleport people interdimensionally. Kate Mara comes on as Susan Storm, and Michael B. Jordan as Johnny Storm, now still brother and sister like the comics and other movies, but only Michael B. Jordan is an adopted son. And then we have Jamie Bell. Jamie Bell as Ben Grimm, or The Thing. Probably most people's favorite character out of Fantastic Four. All of these actors in this film are great actors. They really are. And I had high hopes for this film. And I walked in and I was devastatingly disappointed. This wasn't even a full film. This whole movie was exposition. This whole movie was just setting up for something that doesn't happen. The characters do not relate. The script is awful. The dialogue is terrible. The costumes are just kind of just lame. It's just across the board. I don't know what the... I mean, I literally was watching this movie, and when it got towards the end and the big battle, and I'm thinking, we can't be here already. There's not enough. There's not enough. There's just not enough. First of all, Miles Teller and Kate Mara's characters, Reed Richards and Susan Storm, alright? They are a love interest, those two, from the comics and the other movies. And, of course, when Miles Teller meets Kate Mara's character, Kate Mara's very off-putting and just not really interested. And, you know, he has to win her favor, you know, and so that's typical. But then, once they are introduced, there's no more relationship. There's no more of them trying to get to know each other or them growing closer. That just kind of gets buried. And then there's supposed to be a relationship, of course, between the brother and sister with Susan Storm and Johnny Storm. I think there's like maybe 1 or 2 pieces of dialogue that connect them in an emotional way as brother and sister. There's no chemistry of a sibling love there at all. And Jamie Bell does a good job at playing Ben Grimm, but he's hardly in the film at all. And then when he becomes the Thing, his whole motivations are just unfounded, because what's really great about a superhero movie like this one is when you get the origin story, you really, I personally think, you like to see the character, how he reacts or she reacts when they first get the power. And there's a lot of funny things that they're trying to do, use the power, and they accidentally do something that blows up a building, or they burst through a wall, or they set something on fire, or something like that. You don't have that in this film. In this film, you don't get to learn about their powers. They just have them, and then it says a year later, and suddenly they are already, knowledge of their powers and everything like that. So it skipped that whole good period. This film was just, what? Josh Trank directed this film, and there's a lot of rumors about how he was on set. They say that he showed up drunk, that he was unmotivated, but from what I see, like a lot of these movies, too many cooks in the kitchen. He had too many people on his shoulder that his vision did not get carried out. He actually tweeted, "A year ago, I had a fantastic version of this, and it would have received great reviews. You'll probably never see it. That's reality, though." He soon deleted that tweet, and it was gone, but it was still saved at IMDb and the internet. A lot of places still found this tweet and used it, and to me, this shows that this guy, he tried to distance himself from this film once it was being released as much as possible, and it tells me that he did not get to make the vision that he wanted to make. So this film could have been good. These superhero movies, they're trying to connect all of them, right? So they have to put little scenes that don't really make sense in the film at the time, but then later will make sense in another film. There's getting to be too much of this. They're trying to make, I think, the Marvel universe of Fantastic Four and X-Men and Avengers kind of seem like all the same universe, so almost like they could all be directed by one person, and I don't think that's the way to go. I think each character should have its own kind of direction, its own thing, that shtick that makes it who it is. Like Iron Man used to have AC/DC, and in Avengers you heard AC/DC come on when he was first came and introduced in that film, and then they kind of got away from that, and you don't really have that anymore. But that was something that brought you back to the first film. It would be really great if you had some kind of shtick that was just symbolic for it. Josh Trank was he was set up to direct another Star Wars film after this one comes out, The Force Awakens. After this, there's going to be a lot of other Star Wars films that Disney and Lucasfilm have said that they're going to release. Josh Trank was to direct one. Since the release of Fantastic Four Stick, he was fired. So I don't know what happened. I'm not in a position to complain about this film, about how much it related to the comic books, how much it wasn't like the comic books. I'm not really a comic book person, but I do really enjoy sci-fi fantasy movies. So I can talk about this film on that standpoint, but I do know from what I've read that it is very distant from the comics. One, Doctor Doom. Everyone's upset about Doctor Doom. That's not Doctor Doom. He doesn't look like Doctor Doom. And I would, just looking at it as a movie, I didn't really care if he looked just like the comic book. What I do care is that he looks like complete crap. I don't understand what he is. What the hell is he? But besides being unlike the comic book, the security at the place they work, Reed Richards just kind of calls up his buddy Jamie Bell. Hey man, I can't do this without you. What time is it? It's really, really late, or early in the morning, but you have to come with me. Will you? Oh, dude. You're my buddy, you know I will. Thanks, man. Love you. Yeah, love you too. And then the guy just gets up and gets in. Just no security, nothing. Gets in the teleporter, and he's just like, okay, yeah, I'll suit up and go into this thing that might kill me. This film just died. It was over, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. When the credits rolled, I was like, I told you what I was like, what the holy hell's going on here? There's probably maybe 10 people in the theater with me, and I got all of them laughing. They were all sharing the same thing. We actually all hung out afterwards and talked about how much this movie stank and how much, we missed Jessica Alba, actually. The 2005 Fantastic Four was not that great, but this movie makes you want to go back and watch it and realize, they weren't that bad. They were better than this. I mean, the actors that you have in this are great actors, but like some other things, if you don't have good dialogue, it doesn't matter what caliber of an actor you are. It doesn't matter. If you have bad dialogue, it is very hard to get that dialogue to seem like you are performing well. It just sounds bad. Bad dialogue just sounds bad. The way that they joke with each other. There wasn't anything in this film that I laughed at. There was nothing that I even chuckled at. It was like watching a movie that I was falling in and out of sleep during. Guys, Fant Four Stick, for what it is, and just as a movie in general, is wrong, and I give it an F. This is my first F. I didn't look at any reviews, I didn't read about it, and I was kind of hearing a little bit through the grapevine that it was awful. But I was ignoring that because I didn't want to be influenced, and I went in completely clear-headed and walked out just pissed off. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in again. If you like this video, there's more. Click the link to my channel, hit subscribe, and leave some notes, some likes. Let me hear from you. I'd love to talk to you. Guys, these are just my opinions. They're not set in stone, but what do I know?